Hello my dear students, I welcome you all one more time on my YouTube channel Curious Physics. Today I am going to start the third part of your fourth chapter, moving charges and magnetism. In this particular chapter we will start with Ampere circuital law, which is basically is nothing but the extension of Biot-Savart law. Mean to say that this is the alternate way to find the magnetic field at a particular point. It is nothing but it is used to find the magnetic field. This particular Ampere circuital law is basically is like the you can say the same as the you have studied the Gauss law, is same as the Gauss law which you have studied in your chapter 1 and chapter 2. Okay, this is basically the alternative way, or you can say the simplified way to find the value of magnetic field at a particular point. Okay, so according to this Ampere circuital law, let's say there is an open surface. Let's say this is an open surface. This is nothing but this is an open surface. And also a closed loop. Closed loop means to say that it is a complete surface, but this is an open surface. Open surface means you can say a open surface, as we have discussed the for example triangle, circle, these are open surfaces. Or you can say all 2D surfaces or two-dimensional surfaces are open surfaces. Okay, let's say I current is passing through this particular, or you can say the I current is passing through inside this particular open surface. Then according to Ampere circuital law, the magnetic field at a particular point will be, or in this loop at a distance, let's say the distances are, then according to this Ampere circuital law, the magnetic field at a distance r, or you can say according to this Ampere circuital law, you can say that B into dl is equal to mu naught into I in basically is nothing but the net electric current inside this loop. Okay, this is basically the Ampere circuital law. This will make things easy for you. Okay, how to find a magnetic field at a particular distance. Okay, this Ampere circuital law can be used in every situation, but in complex situations it cannot be easily used. But you can say it can easily be used in symmetric circuit. It can easily be used in symmetric circuits, or you can say in symmetric loops, in symmetric shapes, just like Gauss law. Are you able to understand my point or not? This is basically the Ampere circuital law. So with the help of Ampere circuital law, you can find the value of magnetic field at a distance r. This situation, let's say I current is passing through, then the magnetic field, and this I current inside the paper. If I rotate this particular situation, let's say this is a straight wire, and you have to find the value of magnetic field at distance r. Okay, are you able to getting my point or not? And the direction of current is this. So at a distance r, and the loop will be like this. You can say the loop will be you can say loop will be Amperian loop will be cylindrical loop. You can imagine this loop will be like this, the cylindrical loop will be cylindrical loop will be this cylindrical loop, this loop, you can say that this will be the loop, this will be the loop. So at a distance r and I current is passing through inside this loop. So at a distance r, what will be the magnetic field? So magnetic field, you can say that B into L. Here the L will be 2 pi r. L will be 2 pi r. The integration of dl will be 2 pi r and mu I in. So magnetic field will be mu naught I by 2 pi r. Are you able to understand my point or not? And this particular relation, you should always remember the magnetic field at a distance, magnetic field at a distance r, at a distance r, and here the current is magnetic field at a distance r from the infinite current carrying wire, okay, and the value of the current is I. So always remember this result, the value will be magnetic field is equal to mu naught I by 2 pi r. Okay, here you have to imagine the Amperian loop according to the situation. But for your board's exam, you have to just remember this relation, integration of closed loop B dot dl is equal to mu naught I in. Are you able to getting my point or not? Okay, this is the simple way. And if someone asks, here the B is the value of B tangential. Amperian loop gives the value of B tangential. Are you able to understand my point or not? You have to just imagine the Amperian loop. You have to just imagine the value of, you have to imagine the Amperian loop. Okay, okay, are you understand or not? Are you able to understand this particular concept or not? Okay, this is nothing but the comparison of, or you can say the magnetic field, the value of magnetic field or the magnetic field when a current passing through an infinite wire or rod. Magnetic field due to a long straight current carrying wire. So here the cylindrical symmetry of the field. The first point is the magnetic field depends only on a radial distance r from the wire. Here we get the relation B is equal to mu naught I by 2 pi r. So magnetic field at a distance r only depends, the magnetic field is only depends on r. The tangential direction and field lines. The magnetic field is tangent to the circles around the wire. These are the magnetic field lines. The main properties of magnetic field lines we will discuss in you can say in next part, in next chapter. Okay, but for now you have to understand the magnetic field lines are in circular shape, around you can say around a current carrying wire, Are you able to understand my point or not? The closed loop, the magnetic field lines are always exist in closed loop. The magnetic field lines always exist in closed loop, but this is not the case of electric field lines. Okay, magnitude of magnetic field is directly proportional to 1 by r, and how to find, and here one more thing, how to find the value of magnetic field, at a particular point. You have to just right hand thumb, you have to put the thumb in the direction of current. You have to put the value of in the direction of this particular thumb, in the direction of current, and the curl of finger will gives the value of magnetic field. Curl of this finger give the value of magnetic field. For example, in this case, the current is going in upward direction, so the direction of thumb is upward direction, and the curl of finger will gives the value of magnetic field. These will be the concentric circles. Okay, are you able to getting my point or not? This is, so you can say that if here you want to find the value of magnetic field, then the value of magnetic field like this. Okay, so in Ampere law, how to find the value of magnetic field? Put your thumb in the direction of current and curl your fingers. The curl of fingers will show the direction of magnetic field. Are you able to understand my point or not? These are the basic idea about the Ampere circuital law. Okay, and I in is basically nothing but the current inside the loop. Are you able to getting my point or not? So how to apply this Ampere law? This particular example 4.7 will increase your understanding regarding this particular concept. Okay, so example 4.7 is, figure this particular is, show a long straight wire of circular cross section carrying steady current I. The current I is uniformly distributed across this cross section. Calculate the magnetic field in R is less than A and R is greater than A. Okay, in first case the point, let's say the R is greater than A, and A is nothing but the radius of the wire. So outside this particular wire, let's say consider a Amperian loop. This is a open surface closed loop. This is the Amperian loop. Outside the wire. So for first case, okay, firstly we will consider the case R is greater than A. Then for this Amperian loop at point A, the inside current is I. Then according to Ampere circuital law, B dot dl is equal to mu naught into I in, and I in is I. So value of B will be, and the dl will be 2 pi r. You will get mu naught I by 2 pi r. Simply this is the, when R is greater than, this is the case when R is greater than A. This example will show you how to apply Ampere circuital law. But the second case, when R is less than A, how to apply this Ampere circuital law? For R is less than A, you have to choose a Amperian loop. This is the Amperian loop. For inside, this is the Amperian loop. If this is the Amperian loop, here the current through whole wire is I. This particular current is passing through basically through this complete wire. Now you have to find the value of current. Initially you have to find your main you can say objective is to find the value of current inside the Amperian loop. Okay, and in this R is less than A, the Amperian loop is less than the wire. The area of Amperian loop is less than the area of the wire. Okay, so you have to find the value of current inside the Amperian loop. Here the main task, what is the main task? Main task is you have to find the value of I inside the loop, And this is one thing is also given in question. The I is uniformly distributed across this cross section. I is uniformly distributed across this cross section. Are you able to understand my point or not? This I is uniformly distributed across this cross section. So you can say that, let's say R is the radius of this particular this particular wire. Then the current per unit area, or you can say that the current density, the I current density you can say, or you can say the current per unit area, that can be denoted by J. That can be denoted by J. J is equal to I by pi r square. I by pi r square. It is nothing but current density. It is nothing but current density. This is very good question to understand Ampere Circuital law. Ampere Circuital law. I by pi r square is nothing. Okay, not pi r square, pi a square. A is the radius of the wire. A is the radius of the wire. So this is basically is nothing but current density. Okay, so now you have to find the value of I in. I in mean to say that the current inside the loop. Then this is the current per unit area, pi a square, and you have to multiply the area of the loop, and area of the loop will be pi r square. Are you able to understand my point or not? Then pi and pi will cut each other, and I in will be I by a square into r square. This is the value of I in. Now you can easily apply the Ampere Circuital law. Ampere Circuital law, according to Ampere Circuital law, B dot dl is equal to mu naught I in I by a square into r square. I by a square into r square, and B into dl, the integration of dl will be 2 pi r, is mu naught I by a square into r square. Then r and r will 1 r and 1 r will cut. Then the value of magnetic field will be mu naught I by a square 2 pi into r. This is the magnetic field inside the wire at a distance r. And the first case, the value will be constant. Outside the wire, the value will be constant. If you want to draw a graph of magnetic field inside, at the center, when r is 0, the magnetic field will be 0, because the current will be 0. Then up to a, this will, the magnetic field will increase. This will, and here this is r, and this is a is equal to r. The maximum value of magnetic field will be mu naught I by 2 pi a, and after a, the magnetic field will decrease. So after that, magnetic field will decrease. Here this is basically, this example want to show you how to apply this Ampere Circuital law, in this particular, yeah, you can say that situation to situation. The Ampere Circuital law is very easy. You can, the definition is basically the integration of BDL is equal to mu naught I in. But how to apply, the focus should be on I in. Okay, are you able to getting my point or not? This is basically Ampere Circuital law. Now next topic is solenoid. Solenoid is nothing but it is a way to, you can say in your syllabus, the topic is uniform, you can say the infinite solenoid. The topic is infinite solenoid, and infinite solenoid, the main purpose of infinite solenoid to find the, you can say to create a magnetic field of, you can create a constant magnetic field. The main purpose of infinite solenoid is to form, or you can say to the main purpose to create a uniform magnetic field. Uniform magnetic field. This is the whole sole purpose of this solenoid. Okay, and what is the structure of this uniform solenoid? Uniform solenoid is nothing but there is so many loops, or you can say, let's say this is the how the solenoid is formed. This is the internal, this particular thing is there, and here so many wires are, let's say L is the length of this uniform solenoid, and these are the extremes, and here the current, the loops, the wires are, the so many wires are on this particular, you can say this is the structure of this solenoid, how the solenoid is formed. This is the solenoid. Okay, are you able to getting my point or not? And the direction of current is in this direction. Direction of current is this direction. There are so many turns. Direction of current is in this direction. Direction of current is this direction. Direction of current is this direction. Direction of current is in this direction. Okay, so these consist of so many turns, and in every, this is, you can say this is loop 1, this is loop 2, there are so many loops. And for example, the direction of magnetic field of loop 1, the magnetic field in this direction, magnetic field in this direction, due to loop 2, magnetic field in this direction. So all the loops try to create a magnetic field in left to right direction, mean to say that the value of magnetic field will increase at every point in this particular central line along, because the every loop will create a magnetic field in same direction. Every loop will create magnetic field in same direction, and the value of magnetic field, you have to find this value. We will find the value of magnetic field at this particular direction. But the idea should be in your mind why we have to use this solenoid. Solenoid is used to find, you can say to generate a uniform magnetic field, Are you able to understand my point or not? Okay, and these two diagrams are given in your book. This particular diagram shows in every loop the direction of current is like this, then the magnetic field in this direction, One more thing, what they are saying the adjacent loops at, you can say at these points, the direction of magnetic field is opposite. Let's say if you able to see this or not. This point, the direction of magnetic field is opposite. At center, you will get the uniform magnetic field. This is uniform magnetic field. Okay, but at these particular points, the adjacent coils, the adjacent turns, the magnetic field tries to cut each other. So here the net magnetic field will be 0. These points, the magnetic fields will be 0, and you will get the magnetic field in this form. Inside the solenoid. Okay, at a central point you will get approximately uniform magnetic field, because at this particular point the magnetic field will cut each other. Are you able to understand my point or not? Here, so next our aim is to find the value of that particular magnetic field. Okay, to find the value of magnetic field. What we have to do? We have to cut this solenoid vertically along the vertical plane. Then we will get something like this. We will get something like this. Okay, are you able to getting my point or not? Here the current is in this direction, is coming out from upper part and going inside in this part. Let's say this is the current, this is the current. This is basically is nothing but the cross-sectional view of the, this is nothing but the cross-sectional view of this solenoid, of this solenoid. We have cut this solenoid from along the vertical plane, from vertical plane, and let's say we take a amperial loop. We take a amperial loop. This is the, let's say, amperial loop. This point, you can say that these points are A, B, C, D. This is the amperial loop, and L is the length of the this particular whole solenoid, and let's say the H is this length, H is this length. Let's say this is also H outside. You can say amperial loop can be, this can be H, then this can be, you can say anything, because this will cut. Let's say this is H dash, this is also H dash. Okay, are you able to getting my point? And here from every turn, the I current, from each turn I current is passing through from each particular wire which are which you part of this solenoid. Each every turn I current is passing, then we have to define one term, that is N, that is small n. Small n is nothing but the number of turns per unit length, number of turns per unit length, the small n is number of turns per unit length. Are you able to understand my point or not? So here let's say the CD part is outside this particular you can say solenoid, and there is no current, so here the contribution of this particular top CD part, the contribution is zero. Contribution toward magnetic field is zero. And A and D and C, the contribution of A and D, the contribution of A and D, contribution of AD, you can say contribution of AD and BC is also zero. Why? Because we have discussed the wires are, the each turn is very close to each other, and the direction of magnetic field is opposite, and the direction of magnetic field will be opposite. Just we have discussed this particular point, and this particular point the magnetic field will cut each other. So the net contribution of AD and CB will also be zero. AD and BC is also zero toward the net magnetic field. So only magnetic field will be by this AB. Only the AB is responsible, the part of this loop, only the AB part is responsible for the creation of magnetic field. Only AB length is responsible for the creation of magnetic field. Are you able to understand my point or not? So what we have to do, you have to just apply now according to Ampere circuital law. BDL is equal to mu naught I in, and what will be the value of I in? I current is passing through one wire, or you can say one turn, and in here the length is H, then the what current will pass through this H. Then the current I in, you have to understand how to get I in. N is the total number of turns per unit length. Here the length is H and I is current through each length. The total current will be Ni into H, mu N H into I. And in case of B, the DL consists of 4 parts. This DL consists of 4 parts: AB, BC, CD, and you can say DA. Let's say DA. The contribution of BC, CD, and DA is 0, what we have discussed above. The contribution toward creation of magnetic field is 0. Only the contribution of AB will be there. So value of DL will be AB. Value of DL will be AB. So B into H is equal to mu naught N into H into I. H and H will cut each other, and you will get the value of magnetic field inside the solenoid will be mu naught N into I. This is how to get the answer. There will be no rectification. The basic conceptual clarity should be there. Basic conceptual clarity should be there. What is an mu naught I and how to find the answers? Because in your questions, the basically you have to find if small n is given or not. What is small n? If small n is not given in your question, you have to find the value of small n. You have to find the value of I if I is directly not given. But in maximum questions, you have to find the value of n, and n will be total number of turns per unit length. Total number of turns per unit length, and this is the magnetic field inside the solenoid, and which is a uniform magnetic field. Are you able to understand my point or not? Okay, next question is basically nothing but related to this particular formula what we have derived. A solenoid of length 0.5 meter has a radius of 1 centimeter and made up of 500 turns. It carries a current of 5 ampere. What is the magnitude of the magnetic field inside the solenoid? Okay, you know the formula. Formula is mu naught N into I. But here mu naught is given. You know mu naught is 4 pi into 10 raised to power minus 7. I is also given, but N is not directly given. I is 5 ampere. Okay, but N is not directly given. Then how to find the value of N? Then the N can be is the number of turns per unit length. Are you able to understand my point or not? So here the 500 turns, the total turns, and the length is 0.5. Then the N is total number of turns per unit length. This is the way how to find the value of small n. So the answer will be 4 pi into n. The value of n is nothing but 500 by 0.5 into 5. You will easily get your answer, but the basic conceptual clarity should be always in your mind. The basic conceptual clarity will always be in your mind. What is n? What is capital N? Okay, here the 500 turns is the total number of turns. You have to find the value of turns per unit length. Okay, are you able to understand or not? Next is the force between two parallel currents, and again the topic is the definition of ampere. The definition of ampere, which we are saying the what is 1 ampere current or the what is the meaning of ampere. Here you will also get the definition of the ampere. But here the first task is to find the value of force between the two parallel currents, two parallel current carrying wires or two parallel current carrying rods. Okay, let's say this is a rod. Let's say this is one rod, this is second rod, and D is the distance between these rods. let's say this is IA, current is passing through this, and IB is passing through this, and both are you can say infinite long wires, or you can say the L is the length, L is the length, L is the length of these wires. Are you able to understand my point or not? And we have also discussed that what is the value of force, what is the value of force in a current carrying conductor, and the value of force will be I into L cross B. I into L cross B. This is basically is nothing but the force which we have discussed in the first lecture. Okay, so you first of all, this is a you can say wire 1 and this is wire 2. So our first of all, our main aim to find the value of force on 2 due to 1, force on 2 due to 1. Okay, so here the first aim is to find the value of magnetic field, find the value of magnetic field, and the at a distance D, according to Ampere circuital law, if this IA current is passing through this wire, then at a distance D, what will be the magnetic field? Magnetic field will be is nothing but mu naught IA divided by 2 pi d. We have just discussed this particular formula in you can say the first application of Ampere circuital law, which can I show you again this particular formula. You can say this particular formula, so okay, this is the magnetic field at this point D, at a distance D, due to this is nothing but the magnetic field on wire 2 due to 1. Are you able to getting my point or not? Okay, now, so the question is that what will be the direction of magnetic field? I told you so many times in this particular chapters related to magnetic field, the direction of magnetic field is very, very important. Magnitudes can easily be found with the help of formulas, but the direction of magnetic field is very important. And as I told you how to find the value of magnetic field in case of Ampere circuital law, you have to put your thumb in the direction of current, and the fingers of your hand, the curl of fingers will show the direction of magnetic field. So in this particular wire, the magnetic field will be in this direction. This is basically the direction of, mean to say that away from you, or you can say that inside the paper. Now you have to find the value of force, and for the value of force IL cross B, we know the value of B, but here you have to find again the direction of this particular is the direction of magnetic field, but again the force is a vector quantity or scalar quantity. The force is a vector quantity, so here you have to find the value of, you can say the direction of this particular force L and B. And as I told you, in case of L cross B, you have to consider this L as a vector, and direction of L is same as the direction of current. So the direction of L in the direction of IB, and IB is going upward. So L cross B, move your finger or the curl of fingers from L cross B. The B is inside, and the angle between L and B is 90 degree, and L cross B. So F21 will be in this direction. F21 will be in this direction, and F21 will be I means nothing but IB, L cross B, LB sin 90, and sin 90 is 1. So you will get IB, you can say and magnetic field is mu naught IA. Mu naught I we have just derived 2 pi d IB into L. This is the value of force. This is the value of force. And if you want to derive the same F12, you will get the same derivation. You will get the same derivation, but the direction is opposite. Direction will be F12 will be in this direction. F12 will be this direction. Value will be same. Mu naught IV you can also derive with the help of same what we have derived just above. So F21 and F12 magnitude is same and direction is opposite. So you can say that if the direction of current in two conductors is same, direction of current in two conductors is same direction of current, same direction of current, you will get force of attraction. And if opposite direction, and let's say it's in opposite direction, then there will be force of repulsion. Are you able to getting my point or not? This is nothing but, if you want to derive a formula, if the direction of current is opposite, you can easily change the direction of IB. And you will get the direction of FB away from this direction, because IB is negative and IA should be, and F12 in opposite direction. You will easily get the relation. But remember how to find and where we have to start. IL cross B. So how to find the direction is very important in these cases. So how to move your fingers L cross B, move your fingers from L cross B, from L to B. You have to use you can find the direction with the help of right hand rule, or you can say the screw rule. You can say that, which we have discussed just starting of this chapter. Are you able to getting my point or not? This is nothing but the easy way to get the force, and the value of force will be, and now in so many times the wires are infinite. So the value of force per unit length, in both the cases you will get force per unit length is equal to mu naught IA IB divided by 2 pi d, is nothing but the value per unit length. Why the particular? Because the length is considered here, the length we have considered infinite wires. Okay, that's why if wires are not infinite, you will not get this these answers. Okay, but that particular situations are very complex, but we basically strict our study basically up to this particular point. The wires are infinite. Are you able to getting my point or not? This is basically how to find the force between two parallel wires. So basic concept, when the force will be attractive and when the force will be repulsive, the all concepts should be in your mind. So next is basically nothing but the definition of ampere. Here you can easily see what will be the definition of ampere. The ampere is the value of that steady current, because here you have get the formula is F is equal to mu naught IA IB divided by 2 pi d into length. The ampere is the value of the steady current, which when maintained in each of the two very long straight parallel conductors of negligible cross section and placed 1 meter apart. So the value of D is 1 meter. In vacuum would produce on each of these conductors a force of 2 into 10 raised to power minus 7 Newton per meter of length. So this particular definition of ampere, always you have to memorize this particular definition, and this particular definition is basically created from this formula, created from this formula. Okay, are you able to getting my point or not? Okay, next is nothing but there is a question: the horizontal component of Earth's magnetic field at a certain place is the magnetic field is 3 into 10 raised to power minus 5 Tesla, and the direction of the geographic, and the direction is from south to north, and direction is from south to north, and conducting a steady current of 1 ampere. What is the force per unit length on it when it is placed on a horizontal table and direction of current is east to west? First case, the direction is from east to west and magnetic field is south to north. So the value of force per unit length is nothing but I L cross B and I L B sine theta, and force per unit length will be IB sine theta. So first case, the direction of current is east west and magnetic field is south north, so theta is 90 degree. You will get your answer. In second case, theta is 0. The force per unit length will also be 0, because in second case the direction of current and magnetic field are same. So in second case theta is 0. So easily in this question can be solved simply by the formula ILB sine theta. Are you able to understand my point or not? Okay, the whole today's whole chapter, this particular lecture is based on your conceptual clarity. Main thing is how to understand the Ampere circuital law, how to apply that particular Ampere circuital law is very, very important. Okay, so basically that's all from now. In next lecture we will study the basic concept of torque in a magnetic field. When you can say when a particular coil or loop is placed in a magnetic field, then what will be the behavior of that particular magnetic loop. Okay, so that's all from my side. Keep practicing, and if you have any feedback you can write in comments. Okay, so thank you so much, take care, see you soon, bye bye.